lights, cameras, action. Now let's engage in the dialogue. Let me browse through your mind like a catalog. Conscious metaphysics, allow me to break down the specifics. Educate, motivate. If you don't feel free, you can liberate. An LLC is what I'm building, the #1 podcast in the building. So let me slide on up in the Bentley truck in my Versace shirts. They can't get enough of this deep conversation, expansion, elevation. I'll send you a link you can tap in. It ain't quite what I used to do back then. Now I get it on the front and the back end. Multiple money streams keep coming in. Enlighten, empower, evolve. Enlighten, empower, evolve. Just in time. Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved. I believe everyone's doing well and everything is unfolding perfectly. I'm excited yet again because you know why. I love talking to people from around the world and having just great conversations. And like I said, my man, and I'm going to use his name today, 19 Keys says, high-level conversations with people around the world. Today is no exception. I have today a queen, a woman who is just very intuitive, connected with her spirit, her mind, and just she assists people in becoming intimate with their infinite abundance of boldness, vibrancy, confidence, wealth, and freedom, and a whole lot more. Without further ado, Tamara Tamu. That rhymed. Without further ado, Tamara Tamu. Yes. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. And you did not plan that either. That was perfect.
Yes, I like that. Without further
Off
ado,
the cuff.
Tamara Tamu. Yeah. Gonna have to write you a song now. Yes, so yes,
Right.
I appreciate you coming again onto this platform without even knowing me, and just sending out your good energy and just your information. And I knew it was a good fit just when I read. And I just want to extend my sincerest gratitude because I believe that time is one of our most precious assets. And for you to share a moment in time, history of your life, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for sending me the invitation. And I didn't tell you this in the message during our correspondence, but it had been really been something that was tugging at me to connect with more people, more spiritual people, whether you want to call it God, spirit, angels, all of that. I use all of it. Because to me it's all the same, but I've been wanting so much to connect with more people, just to talk, to have, like you said, elevated conversation. So when you sent me that message, to me that was a wink, from the universe saying, I got you. We're here, so exactly. Here you go. So
exactly. Yeah. And I have to I resonate with that, because when I'm looking for guests on my platform, I really trust my intuition. And even though I'm looking at like your profile really quick, I still trust my intuition. I trust my up here. So I look for keywords. I look for just feel that vibe, the energy, and it's usually right. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Yes, I can't say that, oh yeah, I just researched you extensively for days on end. No, I looked at your profile, saw went down to some of your your feed and just right up and looked, and it's like, yep, let's send her invitation. And so, mm-hmm. Yeah, I vibe with it. But yeah, let's just get right into it. I want, I didn't even name anything. I mean, I named a little bit about, you sent me a beautiful write-up as to what your intentions
and
everything.
It wasn't too much.
No, it wasn't okay. Too much, and I enjoyed reading it. But this is the thing. I want you to share, some of the things, some of the highlights in what you sent me. So, your intentions, your purpose, some of your purposes and intentions, and just some of a speck of who you are. Now, who you are is a whole lot. I already know that. And I got that I forgot her name, and I gotta say it because I had made the unfortunate mistake by saying, "Oh, this is who you are." Oh no, this is just a little bit of who I am. This is a branch of who I am, and I
Yeah.
stood corrected. So yes, share with us a little bit um, about what I read.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. You mentioned so many things there about intuition and purposes. I don't, I'm a person that believes and knows that we have many purposes and we have many callings. And it's from moment to moment that expands. And so, you know, who I am right now, I like to call myself a business artisan. A spiritual business artisan is what I am. And I don't even have to, I probably shouldn't even put spiritual in there because I feel like everything that I do is just rooted in that.
Yes,
And
yes,
so it's rooted in intuition. It's rooted in knowing that our identity goes beyond this shell.
right.
It goes beyond our geographic location, countries, galaxies. So in everything that I so it, let me go back to what answering your question. So I am a designer. I'm an apparel designer. I am commissioned for to do wall art. I'm a painter as well. I
Wow.
love to dance. I love to sing. The arts, that's where my soul lives, really. And so but also I know that part of my purpose is to remind people, not tell people, but to remind people, hey, you've got power that flows through your veins. You've got, I know I keep saying intuition because that's so important. You mentioned
Right. No, it is.
intuition
That's
flowing.
our, and I'm sorry for I don't want
Go
to
ahead.
interrupt you, but let me
Go
stretch
ahead.
a little bit. But yes, intuition is a big part because um and you can't say that enough in my perspective because I believe God, the universe, spirit, whatever name like you said you want to give to it, our life force speaks through us. We are spiritual beings, and just having this, in my perspective, this human experience in this
Hmm.
avatar, if you will. And I got that name from a man by the name of Billy Carson. So
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, Billy Carson. I'm a big fan of Billy Carson's. And yeah, so intuition, that's our, to me, that's our Google, that's our guide, that's our GPS, that's our guidance system. So, you know, yes, and we don't need to look for this, in my perspective, and I'm not putting down anyone else, but I don't feel that we need to look for some kind of guidance outside of ourselves. I believe God
Yes.
speaks within us, and that's our
Hmm.
intuitive. We just have to learn to get out of our own way. And some people
Hmm.
might beg to differ, but in my journey, this is where it has led me to today, right now, on my conscious level, right now. So yeah,
Hmm.
I just had to affirm
And I,
that.
yes, and I resonate with that so much because I talked about how I identify with being an artist.
Right,
I believe, I know that whether you paint, whether you draw, whether you sing, all of us are creators.
right,
And the
right,
reason why I use the art to get that message across, because to me, being an artist, it goes back to the very core of who we are, and that's creators of our lives. And we go back to that intuition to pull that intuition out. Just like you said, we don't have to go to anyone else, anything outside of ourselves, any person outside of ourselves. And that's not to say that we wouldn't go to, like, if I came to you for advice, it doesn't mean that we don't do that. But
right,
still, if we do that, the answer that we get is just going to confirm what we already know anyway, you know.
right, right. And if I
And
may,
so,
oh, go ahead.
mhm.
No, I was going to say, I was
No,
going to
go ahead, go ahead.
elaborate on that point right there. Yes, I believe that other people can be used, like you said, to affirm or to, uh, uh, um, to help us with what we might be blocking ourselves from seeing or whatever. So yeah, we can ask people for advice, especially if we are trusting that person, and we know
Mhm.
where they're where their spirit is, or where, you know, if they're in alignment with us, and you know, you vibe with people and can feel that. Yes. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
you can,
Well,
and it's easy to pick up on, and unfortunately, you know, we're not trained to do that. We're programmed to go to some authority. We're trained to automatically trained to ask and not trust what we feel. You know, because I don't know if this was you as a child, but I noticed that I had intuition. I didn't call it that, of course, as a child. I didn't know what to call it, but I would, you know, feel things about certain people and just, you know, see things and just pick up on energies as a child. And I didn't know what that was, you know, and you know how I would, uh, you know, even today, you know, you intuitively know certain things. You don't know why you know it, you just know it. But, you know, when you have that as a child and you're programmed to ignore that, you know, you lose it. You know, we all lose it as adults. You know, we
right,
make choices not based on what's aligned with our soul. We make choices based on what someone else told us that we should do or should not do, should say, should live, all these shoulds, you know, and we just, it's almost, you know, getting back to our intuition is a practice, just
right,
like, you know,
right,
meditation is a practice or working out is a practice. So
right.
going back and using that intuition and trusting is a practice. So that's what I aim to do in everything that I do.
That's amazing. And like you said, if I touch on that, in regards to childhood, the same here. I had certain intuitions, certain feelings, and I didn't know what to call it at the time. And even certain things in regards to, you know, especially religious practices and writings, you know, to question things that didn't set right with me. And
Mhm.
like you said, we're programmed or indoctrinated, and by people who, um, at the time, was doing the best they could and wasn't open, you know, didn't know what they didn't know,
Mhm.
so they were just teaching us what they were taught. And I am thankful that now, um, there's a lot of and I don't want to overuse this term because people use it too much, waking up and woke and all that. They
Oh,
use it for, to me, for a lot of they attach it to a lot of things that don't even have anything to do with how I think about it. But to
mhm.
me, awakening is just being awakening to, like you said, your own power. And even now, I'm still working on that because I still haven't got to a point yet where I'm just totally trusting and really tapping into the potential of my own power, because we are powerful beings. I mean, you can put it in many different aspects. We were created in the universe's or God's image, so that the universe creates, and that's what we are. And I resonate with that too. When you say we're all creators, we all are. We all are here to create something. And you also spoke about wall art, and I was going to show you this picture, a little bit
I
of it. I
see.
could probably I put it I got this picture and just got it framed. Let me move this a little bit. I usually don't move
Okay.
my camera, but I will. But I just got it from Dominican Republic and had it
That's
framed.
beautiful.
And then I
That's
painted the
gorgeous.
wall behind me black just to fit it. And then I
Yeah,
have these
that I
other
like that.
pictures up of like, I'm into boxing, so they're like famous
Okay.
boxers that I took pictures with. I just put it on the side of each. And but yeah, that
Oh
picture,
wow.
it was rolled up, and we bought it from a lady on the beach, and then they framed it. I think we took it to
Wow. Yeah,
Mike.
that's beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
I noticed it in the back. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we took it to I believe, I don't know if you have a Michael's out there, but we took it to
Hmm.
Michael's. It's a craft place, and they took a few weeks and framed it for me, spread it out, I picked out the frame and put it in there. So yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
works perfectly against that wall. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I painted the wall probably about, I'd say about a month ago. Yeah, it was white.
Okay.
And I painted it black. I wanted it to go more. I wanted to change up my the look of my shelf.
Decor.
Yeah, my
Hmm.
decor, and I want to go with everything. I got my Egyptian king here, so I wanted to go with everything.
Love it. And it integrates with the painting real good too.
Right, yes. And it just
Yeah.
gives me that, you know, how the ambiance it gives me when I'm sitting here looking at this and feeling this and looking at this. my desk and looking at my lamp and looking at the Egyptian king and just the decor. It's a vibe. It's sending off to me, that helps
Yeah,
me.
it's feeding
Yeah.
your identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
feeding me energy. Yes. These colors.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So, um, yeah. So you talked about the way you help people in certain ways. No, I don't want to jump around too much. You said you're a designer also.
Uh,
I'm,
an apparel
I'm
designer.
curious about that a little bit. What?
Oh, so right, I sell online and I do custom work as well. So I hand paint dresses.
What?
I hand paint, yeah.
With
And
fabric
so
paint?
that with fabric paint on
Fabric.
the fabric, yeah.
Okay.
And there's something to that as well. So I believe to help. So let me back up. So one of the ways that I help people is with our programming and to think in a certain way, think in
Right.
another way, think according to our highest selves, going back to the core of who we are and not being afraid of that power that we talked about. And so one of the ways that I do that is through imaging. A lot
Right.
of
Right.
us get attached to images. We see imaging in everything. So,
Right.
in a lot of the designs that I do, there are images that are related to freedom, prosperity, wealth. Some may call those images sigils. I don't know if you've ever heard of those,
No, I
of
haven't.
that term used, but it's the same thing as is saying a symbol it symbolizes certain things.
Okay.
So I
I know about
integrate
symbols
those images into my paint. Yeah,
because I have
into
this
my painting.
sign
So
symbol on the side of my neck, and that just means to me like meditate,
so
like when you're meditating. Yep.
peace, yes.
Yeah.
Serenity, yeah, I get it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so
And I got
it's
my
something that
Nefertiti
I
symbol
really
on the
enjoy.
side
Yeah.
of my shoulder, Nefertiti. Yep. And then I
Yeah.
got King Tut again right here. Hmm.
See, I wouldn't I have one tattoo. One. One little itty bitty tattoo on my finger, and that almost killed me. So I couldn't even sit there that long and go through that.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. It hurt.
Yeah.
Guys sit there. Oh no, it didn't hurt. No, it hurts. To me, it hurts. Yeah, I tell
Yeah.
them now if I go get another tattoo here, put some of that numbing cream on there. I don't want to feel all that pain. Oh, that's part of the beauty of it. Nope,
No, it's not.
no, it's
No, it's
not.
not.
Hurts. As soon
Yeah,
as they start, I want to stop. Like, wait,
exactly.
wait, wait. All right. Yeah. So,
But yeah,
no. Yeah. So yeah, you paint and you sell. Now, where can people find your work?
they can go to iconicbytamu.com and
Okay.
all of my work is there. There's a gallery there. There's limited, what I sell as far as the clothes is limited online.
Okay.
Most of the work that I do is custom. That I prefer to do it that way, but that could change. That's what I'm saying today. Could change, and it has.
Yes.
I've had
Yes.
different iterations of my business, but yeah, so they can find my work there.
You know what? I even want to talk about that a little bit. And that's why I said this is like a coffee table, tea table, whatever you drink, water table, just conversation. Um, and I'm just picking up on everything you're saying. But it's like yeah, I just lost my train of thought. I'm sitting here trying to go through this dialogue and I just lost what I was gonna
It's
say.
okay.
But
I know how that is.
yeah, just lost what I was gonna say. Um, you also do wall paintings too, you said?
I do. Hmm.
Yeah.
With the same idea of using symbology,
Okay.
symbolism, excuse me.
Right.
And there are certain colors that I use. I believe in using colors to
Right.
represent certain things that we want in our lives. So the main theme that I keep, I guess this is my point of view as an artist. I use certain colors to represent certain things. I use certain symbols to represent certain things. And I
Right.
stick with that, you know.
And I know what I was gonna say, and that's amazing because I believe in colors too. The way I dress too, a lot of my shirts they have a lot of colors because that's who I am. I just love it.
Yeah.
I love,
Yeah.
yes. But
I can tell.
what I was gonna say, no, you can't. Okay. What I was gonna say is I resonate with when you said this is how I feel right now. Yes, you are open to the flow, and I believe that's the way we should be. You might not be the same person that you were yesterday. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you were a bad person yesterday. It just means you downloaded something, you've elevated in some way, you've expanded in some way at this moment, or your interest can change. I
Hmm.
don't believe that we need to be locked into anything. You can say
Yeah.
something that you're interested in today doesn't mean you're going to be interested in it tomorrow, or
Yes.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we have to be free and open to that.
Hmm.
It's ourselves and other people that we allow to place these restrictions and these titles on us. Well, you wanted to do that then, and that all of a sudden now, well, yeah, I did then, but
You're right.
this today, this is what I want to do.
Exactly.
Well, last week you wanted to paint, but today that was last week. Now all of a
Yeah.
sudden I feel like doing this. I'm going with the flow. And to me, it's not just being in, it's not meaning that you're indecisive, but you're following, just like you said, your guide and your flow. And you don't have to be locked into one thing. And it doesn't
Hmm.
mean that you're always going to be interested in what you were interested in before. So I think that's beautiful how, you express that. And that's a beautiful example to myself and other people that are listening and or watching, that yes, you just be open. I'm not saying be chaotic, because you don't seem
Yeah.
chaotic at all. You seem at
Hmm.
peace with what you were doing right now, and in the next
Hmm.
moment you're going to be at peace with what you're doing then. So that's fine.
I'm so glad you said that because I think, and I mentioned this when we were talking about tapping into our power, but I think that to change who you have been, to change what you're doing, whatever that is, to change relationships, cities, whatever that is, that's
Right.
scary for a lot of people
It is.
because you get used to, and I hope I'm going to say this and I hope it makes sense, but you get comfortable, you're uncomfortable, but you get used to that. Does that make sense? So,
Oh yes, I put it in this way. You get comfortable within the discomfort. It's the same way as I've talked to people about living in like a toxic environment, right? You can
mm-hmm,
get used to that because that's what you know. So you get
mm-hmm,
comfortable with being uncomfortable because that's what you know, instead of
mm-hmm,
doing the things that it takes to heal and get out of that, which can be uncomfortable because it's unknown to you and it can be
mm-hmm.
a shock to your system. You're in this toxicity, but you're addicted to the chemicals and things that that toxicity brings, and you're used to
Yeah.
it, and you are just used to that. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
you become comfortable within the discomfort. So yes, that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense to me.
And then, I'll add to that too. Another reason why I think, and this is from my experience and just from learning and talking with other people,
Right.
is we often hear that to change or to change what we're doing or to stop something that we've always done is viewed as unstable,
Right.
and so to me that unstableness, you're not calling yourself unstable. I think that just goes back to being too busy worried about what other people are going to say and how
Right.
you're going to be viewed by other people. I think it's more so in that than us calling ourselves unstable,
Right.
so it's it's fear based, but from a lot of different stems. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. No, and when you use that word fear based, that triggers things. And I'm not trying to get off topic or anything, but I'm just elaborating on certain things. When you say that it's almost like I was hypnotized, and then there's certain words hit me, like, because that was a lot of my thinking growing up was fear based,
Mm-hmm.
superstitious and fear based, fearing
Mm-hmm.
everything. Oh, you better not do that. You better not think this. You better not try this. You better not try that. So everything was like, it was
Yeah.
just always anxiety. It created a lot of anxiety with me, even into adulthood. I carried it with me, and I've been working on eradicating that.
Oh yeah.
And it's not blame, because I believe that whatever has happened to us. This is my perspective. Whatever we've encountered, even by those closest to us, our own parents, they did the best they could with what they had. And it's still ultimately, at the end of the day, it's up to us. Our life is our responsibility. Nobody can fix us. We got to fix
Mhm.
ourselves. So just being able to identify it, that's, to me, that's the key. Just to
Yeah.
know, because if you're unaware of, that you were thinking fear-based and that it's a hindrance to your life and why things won't open up, then if you're unaware of that, it's just normal and you're just ignorant to that, then you're not going to be able to change or grow or work on it. So,
Hmm. And
it's
I think a lot of us, as we're to try and numb that fear, we
right.
fill our calendars up with all of this stuff that we're just doing. We often hear, how many times have we asked other people or other people have asked us, well, how are you doing? Oh, I'm just busy. Well, part of that is to numb that fear, because we intuitively know this, that if we get still, all of those, whatever programming that came from, whether it was from our parents, from childhood, church, school, whatever, we already know that that's going to come to the surface. And again, that is scary, because you've got, here you are. And when I do my hands like this, I'm not saying that one level is better than the other, but when we're here and we have this higher identity up here that's looking down at us saying, okay, we got to rise, you got to rise, you have to rise. We know if we get still, we have to meet that. We have to come face to face with our true identity. So, yeah.
That's amazing you say that. Even when you talk about another keyword, you say numbing, because oftentimes in this life, like you said, we occupy ourselves with fill up our calendar with things, and that even equates back to what you said when we were talking prior to this about the amount of time I spend on these podcast segments now, because people's attention spans are so short. That goes into that, because people are waiting for what's next, keeping themselves busy, numbing ourselves, even with substances, whether it
Yeah.
be, alcohol or marijuana, and I'm not putting nobody down for whatever you do. I don't know. It's none of my business. I'm just elaborating on what Tamara just said. Um, we oftentimes are afraid to really sit and just get out of our own way. So we fill up ourselves, and like you said, always busy, always doing this, always doing that, all short attention span, can't pay attention to this. And we got to slow down.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
can be scary, especially if we programmed to be a certain way, you know, um, for
Mhm.
for most of our life or whatever. So yeah, it
Because
is.
even with being, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
No,
cut
no,
you off.
no. I'm listening. No, I'm just flowing with you. I'm trying. I'm trying to keep up with you.
Yeah. So even like, with us being busy, it seems that we're productive, because again, that comes from programming. We're taught, if you're not doing anything, then you're not productive. But what
Right,
I have found is to sit in silence. That has to be one of the most productive things you can do for yourself,
right.
because
And
you have no idea the messages and the downloads and the ideas that come to you. But
right,
yeah, even that comes from programming.
right. Yeah, you got to watch out for that too, and try to.
Hmm.
But you still, like, deep down inside you got that intuition that can decipher that. That can decipher whether it's programming or whether it's something that's conducive to your peace, your inner peace, and you really can sit there and kind of sort that out. And even you know I would say ask, but just talk to the universe, talk to God. you know Thank you for the guidance the wherewithal and the wisdom to be able to decipher what I've been programmed with versus what's just really authentic, that connects with
Hmm.
my soul. So yeah, we can do that too.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
that's a
Anywhere and at any time.
right. So yeah, I
and
believe in that sitting
yeah.
quiet and
Hmm.
meditation, or just like you said, however you want to label it, prayer time, whatever. But sit there and, a lot of people don't like to be. I love being alone with myself because I like listening and, like you said, getting those downloads. And we're never truly alone. Like you said,
No,
we have that God in us. We have that universe in us. So we're not alone. We're
not at
connected with
all.
ancestors and things like that. So I believe that. And I
Oh
talked,
yeah.
call me crazy all you want, but I like talking to myself. I do. And really working it out. Just like even before the show, I talked to myself a bit to see, okay, imagining that you're here before you're actually here, and just knowing that the energy is going to be good. I'm going to say this without really putting a limit, like rehearsing, but just kind of like warming up, like a singer warming up their voice. So I'll
Yes.
do that with myself, often.
Yeah.
And I believe talking to yourself is great. Back then, I say years ago, I used to be embarrassed about that. And, oh, don't let no one catch you doing it. I mean, yeah, rightfully so. But nowadays, you don't know if somebody talking on a Bluetooth now,
Yeah.
so it really doesn't matter now. It's the best time, better time than ever to talk to yourself, even in public, because they don't know what you're
Right.
doing.
Because you can pretend you do,
Yeah, yeah. If
put your
somebody
earpiece in
catches
and
you, you can be
pretend.
like, oh, "What'd you say?" When they walk away, you didn't have nothing in your
Exactly.
ear. So yeah, and that's happened to me before. I'm telling you, I've been talking to myself at work when I've been at work, and somebody looks over at me, and then I pretend like I'm taking something out of my ear.
Right. But that goes back to the power of our words. There's
Right.
something about us hearing ourselves speak what we want, even asking a question, even if we're dealing with a challenge, and just to simply say, how do I handle this? There's power in your voice and even asking the question. So I'm beautiful that you brought that up, because that's one of the things I'm passionate about, is talking about the power of our words and getting us to return to that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And knowing that that's powerful. We have to be careful and at least be aware of the conversations that we are having. Make sure that they're affirmative. Make sure they're empowering. Um,
Hmm.
and if you are talking or focusing on what you perceive as a problem, make sure it's linked to a solution. Like, okay, you can go through
Hmm.
this problem that you feel is a problem, but make sure it's not just um, for the sole purpose of focusing and giving more energy to that problem. To me, is
Yeah.
give energy as long as it's leading to a solution. That's what I've learned. That's what's helped me, because
Hmm.
I at one point in my life was chronic with that, focusing on negativity and repeating it. Like, wow, you see what they just did, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, how am I gonna deal with this? Because to me, everything is mindset. So it's not what
Hmm.
about anybody else does. It's how you internalize it, how you interpret it, and what you're gonna do about it. In your mind.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
How you gonna are you gonna allow this to tear you down and focus on it and be self-implode and be negative, or are you gonna just use this as something, a learning, uh, something to learn from and
Hmm.
elevate yourself, because we grow through adversities anyway. So
Yes.
anything that happens that's uncomfortable or adversities is helping us grow. I've created
Hmm.
a lot of my inspirational quotes, most of them through actual real things that I've been through. And that's when I've come up with them. When I'm
Yeah.
trying to find a solution, when I've allowed it to bother me, it inspires me to come up with something inspirational to pull me out of that. And then
Yes.
I can inspire other people through that too. So it's amazing.
Yes.
Love
Absolutely.
self-talk. I
I know.
love self-talk. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody start talking to yourselves. Okay.
Yeah. And then you know what? This is my thing. And I forgot where I got this from. I didn't originate this, but I can't remember the name. But somebody catches you talking to yourself and they say, "Who you talking to?" You say, "I'm talking to the smartest person I know."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's who I'm talking to.
I think I may take that one myself. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm talking to the smartest person I know. And they'd be like, "Who?"
Exactly.
Talking to
Yeah.
me. Me.
Yes.
Yep. So yes, we're
It,
gonna wind down now. So Are there any other links while we're here for people that are listening to us on like Spotify that you would like to share?
So my website, definitely iconicbytamu.com. You can see all of my work. I'm also a writer, so I do sell my ebooks there as well as my art. And then also check out my YouTube channel, the Tamara Tamu Collective, where dreams have no filter. Tamara
Love,
Tamu.
love
Yep.
it. Tamara Tamu, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you again. And thank you everyone for watching Enlighten, Empowered, Evolve. Sending you love and appreciation. Be sure to hit that like and or subscribe button, whatever platform you're listening and or watching on. And check out the website, 333empower.com. See you soon.